Whew, whew, chilly one. Should say 16 above. Last night it was last car. Last night it was what minus 27, I think, with the wind chill. It was colder than a motherfucker last night. When I picked my daughter up around six, a little after six, I remember walking to the car. It was like, this shit's out here. I had some running around to do, and didn't end up doing it. Didn't end up doing it. So, but this is responsible daddy hour. Here to pick up the minis, pick up Ethel and Hazel. No activities tonight. Hey Ben, what's happening? We have no activities tonight, so I guess Wednesdays basketball, some kind of basketball is probably on. Watch the Timberwolves whoop Portland. It was kind of interesting. They end up pulling it out up there. People don't realize about Fox TV. Fox TV has some of the worst. Thank you, thank you. Well, this is shit. This jacket is 40 years old. 81. They gave us these jackets. When we won the Gold Bowl, they gave us these coats and they gave us these cheap little watches. The watch had a Coca-Cola bottle that went around. Of course, I lost that shit many years ago, but kept the jacket. And one thing I like about A&T is A&T was established. And you look at Howard, and you look at most what used to be called black colleges. They call that shit HBC, whatever the fuck now. But most of them was established in 1891. Well, my football number was 19, so it's like almost on all the Aggie shit, 91, 19 is on the shit. So, but thank you. Hey, Derek, what's happening? Perspective Gaming, what's happening? So I guess what I'm gonna talk about is a couple different things. The first thing I'll talk about is being grounded. Yesterday I talked about being harmony, but like if you kind of can look through and you can see the snow around me and shit, and it's like, how do you get grounded when the ground around you is frozen? Like, how do you get in touch with Mother Earth when everything around you is built up where you really can't, especially the people in the north, northeast. So how do you get grounded when everything around you is frozen? I'm glad you caught me. Hey, Carrie, thank you for joining me. But how do you get grounded when all the ground around you is frozen? What do you do? Because when you're ungrounded, you get this flighty feeling. You might be daydreaming too much. It's like it's hard for you to concentrate. No matter how much work you do, it's hard for you to concentrate. Again, because you're not grounded, you get these flighty feelings. You really get this feeling like when you see the dude so light where he floats like a balloon. It's almost like that with your consciousness. If you can't find a way to get grounded. Now I do two things. I drink sugar water. All my water is treated with that mineral, all of it. I mean, 100% of my water is treated with sugarite, and sugarite again is the oldest substance on Earth. And so there's chemicals, and then She Legit. I put She Legit in my coffee as well because that gives the clarity. But again, we have a very ancient stone, and through these works, it helps me stay grounded. It helps me stay focused, because I find that when you're not grounded, you tend not to be as focused. So just be aware. Just be aware of grounding yourself. Another way you could do it is if you have house plants. You have house plants, take a little dirt out of the house plant, sprinkle it on a piece of paper, put your bare feet on it. Simple way if you do have house plants. That's another way that you can, if you're from the colder parts of the country at this time. That's another way that you can get grounded. I would even dare say you could just stick your fingers in the dirt. You can still get some kind of grounding from that. And I think people miss that they don't see that they're grounded in their life. And it's the same way with your family and your children, because you don't want that up and down. You want all the people that you deal with, you want them on that same level. And so in some instances, you have to teach them how to become grounded. And you can really see children when children aren't grounded. Very true. I only feel connected in Massachusetts from April to September. Um, Lost other parts of the year. Yeah, yeah. And Carrie, what's happening for joining? Hey Ben, I think I said what's happening to everybody. And so yeah, that's very possible. Yeah, it is. It's easy to get disconnected from the land. It really is. I say the benefit of what they do here, and there's so much outdoor things to do. I was thinking about taking the kids sliding. Right now it says 16 above. That would be ideal. I don't know if my daughter feels like it, but like my neighbors just be sliding off the drifts because they don't even know it's a big ass park where you can zoom down a hill and it's free, and it wears children out. Okay, she did some pretty good driving there. She got up out of that shit. Oh my goodness, that was some good driving, girl, for a big old van. So, um, Carrie says, I play in the dirt with my plants. The soil raises your vibration. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. The soil definitely will raise your vibration. I mean, that's the thing about plants. Like I've got a tree that's 11 years old. I've got an old corn tree is really what it is. And it's, let me see, my daughter's 10. So yeah, it's older than my daughter. It'll be 11 years old. And well, at least I had it come May. I've had it 11 years. I've got another plant. This plant never wanted to grow straight. I mean, it just, no matter what I did, it just would not grow straight. Now this thing is about 4 feet, and four other plants have sprouted off this one plant that I look at my pictures when I moved in my apartment, and this plant is just this little plant, but it never wanted to be straight. And now it has like 3 or 4 other plants on it. So, but like even talking to your plants have proven that there's positive that puts in the puts in the in your area where you live. And that's the thing. You want to vibrate high as possible where you live. I have a ponytail palm tree that's 8 years old. Oh, nice, Carrie. Now, this is the funny story about my 10-year-old plant. We had 2 little kittens. My son and his buddy just brought 2 little kittens. Pretty little kittens. I think we end up selling them. I think we got 300 a piece for these things. And my son just found them, but we did everything and got them. But we kept them for 2-3 months. We kept them before we ended up selling them. And my tree had been my corn tree had been outside all summer. Beautiful, huge. Well, when the winter hit, I didn't really have anywhere to put it. And at the same time, we let the kittens loose, and the kittens just shredded the leaves, so it killed part of the plant. And let me tell you how in tune plants can be. So a lot of times when you get corn plants, it's like 2 plants almost. It's a small one and then it's the main one. Well, the main one had died. I had got the pots in my house. Check this story out. So I got the pots in my house to transplant them. The one that's crooked and my big cane tree. I'd got bigger potters. And they sat there for a week or so. Don't you know, my corn plant some kind of way enticed my cat to jump on it, which would knock it down. You understand? My cat, which normally doesn't fuck with the plants, jumped on the plant, so it knocked it down. So the dead part automatically came out, and the plants forced me to repot them. And the cat ain't messed with them plants since. But it's just funny how the plant was like, hey, you ain't doing your job. We need to get him moving. So consider that as you move your daily. Watch your children to see if you see them unbalanced or ungrounded, not grounded. Just look at everything around you to see that you're perfectly grounded. And it will help those vibrations. It will help your overall mood. That's what people don't understand is working on your mood, working on your awareness. Another thing that's kind of personal to me, and give a little history of it. So what we see in America, and we see that they copy names, they steal names to use it for their benefit. We see this over and over again. And look at all the names that they've just copied of tribes. And these names all of a sudden have, like the Dakotas. We have Dakota County that's next to my county, Scott County. I mean, they love stealing names. But one of the names that we're gonna reclaim, and you see in the little box there, is a person that was part of the tribe that my ancestors come from, Sapani, Catawbas, out of North Carolina, Virginia area, through the Heathcocks. I'm related. And so Pontiac, like a lot of people just think it's a car. Pontiac was a real person. Matter of fact, Pontiac uh, lived not very far from where I grew up. He was connected to the Ottawa tribes, but he was the last war chief in the Midwest. Tecumseh, somewhat as well, that fought the British. And at one point, he had surrounded Detroit. And so General Motors killed the name anyway. See, this is the thing. They think when they kill names, the names die. Well, I'm reclaiming Pontiac. And so I'm reclaiming that name. I think I have every right to reclaim that name. Maybe I don't have any. Maybe I don't have any. There we go. And so I'm reclaiming that name. And so War Chief Pontiac, because there's energies in names. And plus, I've been on ground where he been on. I've been on some of the ground where he was on that same ground. Now, at one point, we thought Osceola was part of the family, but as we did our research, we find out that there's really no connection. But we know Pontiac, there is a connection. And there's a connection of him being in Michigan. Him walking the trails, walking the lands that I had once walked on. And so we take it back, or I'm taking it back. So we don't want it to mean automobile, because that's how they try to degrade it. That's how they degrade names. You think of this name and you don't even think it's a person. At one time, likeness, and I don't even know if it's likeness, but if you looked at the old ones, they had an Indian. They had a likeness, like the nickel dollar, like the nickel and shit. They had a likeness on some of the early cars when they used the name. But see, they think when they killed the name that died. Well, it's not going to die. I'm going to keep it going. And so I'll be War Chief Pontiac, because there's power in names. And there's power in the name where if you have walked these lands where that energy has come from, you can integrate that into your knowing and your awareness. So I wanted to bring that up, because too often they take our stuff and then we're left and we don't even understand. We don't understand where some of these names come from, and that these names can give power. It's like my brother, he'll evoke certain names, certain energies he wants to work with. Pontiac is another thing where you can bring this energy in. I remember I brought I think she went by One Divineness, and it's interesting how she kind of channels a little bit and deals with angels and shit. But it's funny how she was saying when she would feel what she felt was an angel come in, and she described it, those type of lights. But what's interesting is what she described as an angel coming in. I have seen that kind of energy come in just through crystals. And so I found that very interesting, that she interpreted when the energy came in, she interpreted it as that was with the communication with the angel coming in. I'm not going to say she's wrong, but I'm just, in my experience, that's not an angel. So, I guess not to say I'm right and she's wrong, not to say that, but I just experience, you get these experiences, and you like I've said before, angels move through plasma. When you get an angel coming in, you get plasma. They move through plasma. So Angel, if you don't see that plasma come in, I've said it before, it's almost like a volcanic lava, almost like with your awareness. That's how angels move. Angels tend to move like that. Dan Winters, he talks a little bit about that too, but that's how I seem to see. And I've said before, I look at the Tsar. I almost want to say the Tsar movement trumps all that, because from my experience, the Tsar can move through it all. I almost say this, and I don't talk about the time walkers that much, just not to give out so much information, but the Tsar movement is almost how the time walkers could move through everything. You know, because think of it like this: time ages light. There's very few things that age. I know Hito Paul had put um, how darkness can move quicker than light can move. Possibly. But the time walking and the Tsar movement seems to trump it all. It seems like when I talk about Hanukkah, it's a straight up time walker stuff. You know, if it moves, you count it. I know that may be a hard concept to kind of understand. I mean, like even in your own awareness, you may not be moving yet. Like you may close your eyes, but you're not moving. You know, you're just closing your eyes and you're just kind of there without any kind of movement. So it just shows you need more work to be done, because you should be able to close your eyes and move, and move as far as you can take the experience. And I don't know, I just look at spirituality as just something serious, as something that's worth studying. That's why I was saying yesterday, you know, the study of death. I mean, you have to look at it all. You have to look at it all. And my brother's always getting on me. He's like, you gotta push through that information, because I get information. I'm like, this is bullshit, and it'll turn me off. But it's like you may have to go through a couple hundred pages of bullshit to find 10 pages of shit that works. Hey Mo Ray, what's happening? Hey CJ, thank you for joining. Hey Crazy Sarge, what's happening, man? Good to see you. And so you may have to go through, you know, a couple hundred pages of bullshit to find 10 pages of shit that's useful. That's just part of studying and discernment, you know, and that's a lack of patience for me sometimes. And so, you know, I have to push through this information just to get, you know, a little bit of information sometimes. Yeah, these teachers earn their money when they have to come out and count the cars and make sure the cars with the children, because we got numbers where they match the children, and they call out the things like who's doing what. All right. Yeah. Do you think we are getting into a circular economy? You think in the end the game will own nothing? I mean, that's really what, if you look at what communism is, socialism is that you don't own anything. Yep. So that's communism in its basic form, is you don't really own anything. Everything goes to the state. Like right now, we live in a fascist state where the corporations rule. I mean, that's, you know, what's the other word? Crankyology, where, you know, we're governed by the stupid, whatever that word is, governed by the stupid, and that's pretty much it. We're governed by old people that like when they talk about the mugs being able to be in the Senate, but yet they still can trade stocks and bonds, and it ain't like they ain't getting insider information. You feel me? So yeah, that's the crypto and all that. They like, remember what is Escape from New York? It was either Tina Turner or Pam Grier said, they was like, well, we'll give you so much money. She was like, shit, I got a room full of this shit. And that's really what they want. They don't want you to be able to stack money anymore. They would rather it be on a digital print that they can just wipe out at any time. That's what they prefer. And that's what it's all moving to. Let me see. So the end game is fascism. That's the end game, where the corporations run everything. That's the end game to me. Uh, Someone said the Spurs only won because their core is not American. Only 2 out of 3. Tim Duncan is from the Virgin Islands, which is territory. Yeah, Tim Duncan is American. Well, yeah, absolutely. I said that yesterday. That the only reason the Spurs won was the push for the European players. And right, Tim Duncan is American. Canadians are American, but Tim Duncan's from the Virgin Islands. Tim Duncan's from America. But Ginobili, Patty Mills, who shouldn't even be in the league. I mean, why is Patty Mills in the league for 10 years? You telling me there ain't 6-foot Americans just as good as Patty Mills? So, of course. But we have a military intelligence, which is Popovich. Popovich, if he ain't CIA, he's definitely military intelligence. This is part of replacing the American players. They want it 50-50. They want 50% of the players to be from somewhere else and 50% Americans. If you pay taxes to the different government agencies to have your stuff, or they can sell it, means we own nothing. Yeah. I mean, taxation is theft. I mean, if you look at, like, when they say the old thing, like they paying $50 for the hammers, I mean, you magnify that. Like, again, I broke this down. All the money they gave to Afghanistan, do you know that would have been millions for everybody? If you took all the money they gave and put in Afghanistan, which, again, that's fascism, because it went to them factories. It went to them businesses. I mean, let's go back to Vietnam. Let's just show you how all this works. It'd be easier for me to break it down in Vietnam. Look at the old Vietnam movies. You had Coke, you had Pepsi, you had Budweiser, you had Miller. Look at all the corporations that benefited from Vietnam. All these products that come from America that is sold back to Americans, but only in a different country. Afghanistan is the same thing, but on a much bigger level, much longer level. Vietnam technically was what, 10 years, 11 years? There was enough money, what they gave to Afghanistan, which was wiped out poverty. But see, again, capitalism, people was talking about ghettos and stuff. Capitalism has to have poor. That's the part of capitalism they don't tell you. It has to have poor. It has to have ghettos. They need to keep servants. That's part of capitalism, is they need servants. They don't talk about that. That capitalism needs servants. And that's what, it's when we get out of the smokestack factories, when they closed the factories, now it's service. How can you serve the elites? It's pretty much what we're looking at. How can you serve the elites? What service can you do for the elites? Aggie Pride. Oh, class of 17. There we go. Aggie Pride. Dunamis. Dunamis. Yes. I am from 83. Nothing but true. Good to see you. I'm looking for a wholesome Shigite. Where'd he jump to? It's a couple sources, but Eagles are the bomb at gmail.com. Eagles are the bomb. I think Christina. I think Christina has some. I'll check her out. Or put your email in, but mine's Eagles are the bomb at Gmail. Eagle are the bomb at gmail.com. But I think Christina is selling. She might have some Royal Sugar. So yeah, I could probably give it to you. I could probably get you some. So if nothing else, I can go to my crystal shop to see if they have any Royal Sugar. Because let me see, I always carry a piece of sugar. I don't just talk it. Yeah, I carry this big chunk right there. This stuff is about 5 billion years old. Only comes from Russia. And this has fullerness. And what fullerness is, and this is the only thing on earth that has it. And fullerness is It connects the organic to the inorganic. It's the only substance that can do that. So yeah, I got a couple sources I can check. Christina might be the easiest. I can't think of her site offhand, but she might be able to do it a little quicker for you. Plus, she got bracelets and all that. So if you want sugar bracelets, I believe she has all that. Yeah. People have a point when they talk about there being more foreign players, but I do think it has a lot to do with the fact that basketball has expanded quite a bit. Well, I've said this yesterday. Farm team players, G League players, minor league players can get better to go to the top leagues. That's just how, I don't disagree with that. But my point is, foreign players are needed. Like when you get a visa, and give you an example of when Jimi Hendrix got his visa, there was no one else really could do what he did. And so when these people apply for visas, they're supposed to have a special talent that no one else has in America. These players coming ain't got no special talent that you ain't gonna find. So I don't know. I think it's an invasion of our American talent. It kills hoop dreams because the NBA went over to these other countries. Well, the Globetrotters started it. The Globetrotters put basketball everywhere. And then in the NBA in the late 50s, started the leagues over there. The NBA had their hand in starting leagues all over the country. England, Russia, everywhere. The NBA had their hand in pushing these leagues. It's your brother from California. Oh, okay, Samuel. Lakers 24, Kobe. Yeah, they've been showing, it's funny. Yeah, no, definitely nothing special about them. But it's funny how, they pushing this Kobe stuff. They trying to, again, that necromancy. Because like I saw it on Facebook today, and I'm like, damn, this necromancy shit. Trying to feed off the dead. And it ain't highlighting them, it's actually feeding off the dead. And they do this so often, like the Gabby killing. Like they came around and said he wrote a letter. Who cares at this point? You got two people that died, that's it. But that's not how these vampires like to do, these energy suckers like to do. They like their necromancy. They like because okay, here's one for you. Now, we know them cops took pictures, right? When Kobe died, we know people took pictures. Don't you know they took ashes and bones, clothing? Don't you know? They took some of Kobe's ashes, some of his bones, same with his daughter. Because this is what these creatures do. You don't think that they took some of that? Because if you look at high ritual, you don't think they took some of that was available there? You don't think that intelligence went in there? No, if they died. Well, you guaranteed if they really died, they couldn't wait. Well, we need this for, that's how they'll go. Wait a minute, him particularly? What about these other ones? You don't need any of theirs? No, we just need this. Different camera. What up, Lorenzo? 2 for 2 on catching me. A lot of foreign players aren't super special, but one is extremely special. He is 16, can pass, doing everything. But I don't even say that's special that he can do that. Bill Walton played the same way. Joker is littler Bill Walton. That's all. Staying healthier than Bill Walton, but Bill Walton had them same skills, and Bill Walton was 7 foot. And so to get a big dude that can pass, you think his MVP was organic? So I don't know, LG. I'm not impressed with him because it's a lot of dudes. Like I watch a lot of G League ball. A lot of dudes same size, little better skills. So I don't give that to him. Don't know they took his clothes and bones. That's sick. Oh yeah, I ain't saying they took it all, but I'm saying they it's some people they sent in there that this is what they do. Don't think that they didn't. And this is how sick they are. And this is how they do rituals. So when you see Kobe and his daughter's pictures and saying anniversary, they bringing that shit out somewhere. Somewhere they bringing that shit out, and it's yeah. I'm a Niner fan, but I was told Chiefs versus Ram according to projections. Right now, it's heavy money on the Chiefs, which makes me like, but Chiefs Rams, I can see that. Uh, try to think. Cincinnati's never won it, so they ain't. If Cincinnati gets in, they definitely ain't gonna win it. They ain't never. They don't let teams that haven't won it win it. I mean, we talking about repeats. All sports are pretty much repeats. I would say baseball may be the one exception, but when we talking about hooping, we talking about football, they repeats. So I would say Chiefs and Cowboys, or excuse me, Chiefs and Rams. I would get a lean into the Chiefs, but so much money is going to be on the Chiefs. It's going to be interesting. I think the points over and under is probably going to really be powerful. The game in-game betting is probably like how many receivers is going to get. Those kind of bets is probably going to be pretty good bets. Oh, looks like the children are starting to come. I want to say happy birthday to my mom. She's 57. Well, happy birthday to her. Hey, Adrian, what's happening? Happy birthday to her as well. Well, she's 57. Yeah, I'm 60. I'll be 61 in June. So, yeah, that's great to see that, give her love. Hey, Brother James. Mahomes going to have 2 rings? Possibly. But remember how terrible he played at times, just throwing them interceptions on purpose. But I'll say this, they made an exciting product. The football games was exciting. I'll say that. The product they put out there, it was exciting. The games was good. It's so much of a copycat thing where all the kickers. But my thing is, I was glad to see Tom Brady go. I was glad to see the biggest thing, like when they show Adams, I don't know if these people remember this play. When they show Adams getting double teamed, Green Bay only had one receiver for the last 3-4 years. That's it, one receiver. And they beating teams, so I was glad to see that. Well, here is Ethel and Hazel, this Responsible Daddy Hour. Till we meet again.